Jacob Burton here from StellaCulinary.com, and in a previous video I demonstrated the technique of Frenching and deboning a chicken leg and thigh, which resulted in this, a Frenched chicken leg that has a pocket and some excess skin that will allow you to stuff it. Now here we're going to stuff it with minced chicken meat, but you can really stuff it with anything. So this video is more of a conceptual overview of what you would then do with your chicken leg and thigh after you've Frenched it down, but let your own creativity lead the way, although this isn't really a bad way to go either. So here I have the minced chicken thigh meat, and I'm sprinkling it with a little bit of kosher salt, and then some sliced shallots are added right on top. And I'm going to continue to chop it and mince it. And that sprinkling of kosher salt is going to help to release some of the proteins, which will help it form together and stick together. So you can see I basically have like a chicken meatball. That's very, very simple. And now I'm just going to take that chicken meatball, for lack of a better term, and stuff it into that pocket that we created when we tunnel boned the chicken leg, and pack it in as tightly as possible. And then I'm going to take the skin and very carefully fold it up, completely covering that meat. And what you have is just a nice big pocket of chicken meat with the chicken leg wrapping around it and the bone sticking out for presentation purposes. Now from here, there's any number of ways to approach this. The easiest way to make sure everything holds together, though, is you want to wrap it in plastic wrap as shown here. And what you're going to do is you're going to place it directly down on a sheet of plastic wrap, seam side down, and see how I'm wrapping the plastic wrap up around the bone. And once I get to that point, I'm going to give it a couple of twists. And the twisting is just going to help the leg keep its shape during the cooking process. Now, once you've twisted it up and formed some tension on that, go ahead and tie it off just by tying the loose end of the plastic wrap to the bone using a piece of butcher's twine. And then go back with your chef's knife and clean up any excess twine and plastic wrap. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can cook this at this point. You can poach it, you can steam it. I prefer steaming. And the reason why is this: the steam is going to be gentle heat, but because we have the barrier of the plastic wrap as well, the chicken leg is going to naturally release its juices, and what will happen is it'll actually poach in its own juices contained within that plastic wrap. So I'm just going to cover the steam tray with some tinfoil. That way I can steam the leg bone side up during the entire process. And we're going to steam for about 25 to 30 minutes. And you'll notice here, now after the end of the steaming process, the chicken leg is sitting in its own juices. So that entire time it is technically poaching gently in its own juices, which concentrate the flavor and give you a nice finished product. Now you'll notice here that the leg is cooked fully and holds its shape. And now there's a couple different ways that you can finish this off. Now the first one is through butter basting, and it's really kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm going to demonstrate anyways, just because it's a good technique to understand. And basically with butter basting, the way I do it is a little bit of clarified butter at the bottom and then whole butter melted in. You push the meat to the top part of the pan, tilting the pan forward, and as that butter starts to melt and bubble and froth and brown, you continually spoon this over the thigh or the whatever meat you're cooking to give it a nice crispy brown color. But it's really kind of a bummer to do this during a busy dinner service. So another way is to fry it in a pan just like this, or a pot, with just enough oil to where it covers the top of the meat but the bone still protrudes, and that's going to give you a nice crispy skin. Now you can also dust the skin in a light starch such as cornstarch, tapioca starch, or rice flour, and then deep fry. And there you have a nice stuffed leg portion of chicken. And again, you can stuff this with any number of items. Now I'm going to sauce with a simple pan reduction sauce made from roasted chicken stock, which we have multiple videos on. I'll put a link to those in the show notes. And I'm garnishing here with a chiffonade of fresh sage and some sage flowers right from the garden. For more information and related techniques, you can check out this episode's show notes. We're going to put it in the kitchen prep series because it is kind of a prep technique at StellaCulinary.com/KP29.